What's up, Polo community?
Yo,
Hello.
It's the Shuffle, a Polo cast.
we're not dead.
Back in your face.
A little bit of a hiatus. Hopefully not for too much longer.
Yeah.
We can get back in the studio more frequently now, or just frequently, and
Just actually do stuff. Make episodes.
It's
Yes.
nice to see your guys' faces again.
yes, we are. We won't make excuses as to why we're where we are right
Can
now.
we? Can we though? 'Cause
But
it's-
there a lot of stuff happened, and
we've been busy.
we're gonna get ready. We funded the website. That's progress. We just now need to make sure we can get it live.
Yeah.
That's
So
all gonna
soon.
come with time.
Yeah. I have been going to a bunch of tournaments and I talked to a bunch of you guys. So thanks for like finding me at tournaments and saying and like giving us some feedback and just asking questions about it because that's super awesome. Yeah, I told a bunch of you the website is coming, and
It is coming. That's
like
true.
we just gotta fucking pull the trigger, and that should happen soon. So
Yeah, it's paid for, so.
yeah, we've just got to do like some final touches and stuff, and then we should be in there, and you
But
guys will.
With all
Just
that
give it a
hype we're
go.
giving it, don't expect a whole lot.
Yeah, because you're gonna.
Like when we say final touches, that
What the fuck, Willis? Is your building burning down?
No, that's a damn elevator. Some jackass. Oh, I'm
Okay.
stuck in the elevator. Help.
Start with the
Bullshit.
bang.
it's like great.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for like showing some interest in it. And
yeah,
stuff.
let us know the interest because we during the hiatus we're questioning life.
Yeah, we were like, should we do this? And
We were soul searching,
yeah, you
trying
know,
to find a reason to go on.
but we're back, and we're gonna
Yeah.
do stuff.
And
we have
We've gotten a few emails, which is great. This will be a personal shout out to the person who knows who they are. We are sorry we didn't get back to you about our interview time. We definitely value your time and want to have the interview.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we're gonna
We're
gonna try to
excited
set that
about
up.
We're self-analyzing,
Yeah.
and we're trying to work on our follow-through.
Yeah, we try to. I don't know why we got all of a sudden busy, but now we like barely have time to record this,
yeah.
let alone do a whole lot.
No,
lot
life
else.
just happened. I have a lot of family health issues going on that I'm sort of taking me away, not only from this but from polo in
Yeah,
general.
it's true.
So-
Yeah, and then I've been busy, been traveling a lot, doing
Been
a lot of
playing too
tournaments and
much
stuff.
polo.
I've just been playing the fucking game. So that's
Mhm.
I don't know. That's one of the reasons. Like because since NAs, I think maybe even a week before NAs, I haven't been in Columbus for the weekend. Since I think this last weekend was the first weekend I was in
Are
Columbus.
you going to Hollow Mimi this weekend?
No,
Nope.
I'm not doing that. I was supposed to, but I want to break.
That's in Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah, I want to break.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So now we should be doing stuff, pushing those episodes back out again.
Ready
Thanks
for
for
winter.
listening, and yeah,
Yeah, in Columbus, it's getting into that cold season.
Yeah,
We'll be
so-
playing polo once a week, but
having some shovel parties. You
so
know?
every Monday we're looking at every 2 weeks. Every Monday,
Let's not get those hopes up too
Yeah.
high, but yeah,
Yeah,
we're-
You know,
the plan is
we're gonna
every
try to
2
sit
weeks.
down and talk a little bit every so often.
we're
and,
talking next
you know.
level strategy at this point.
Yeah. So, but we are back now.
Yep.
All is well.
back
you
in the
know.
creepy basement.
Back in your creepy uncle's basement.
That's right.
And we're ready to do it. So,
Besides lining up a couple of future Skype interviews, we got an email from James F-T.
yeah.
Not sure who that is, but it says, what's your response to bikepolo.nyc's throwdown issued at the end of episode 16? Are y'all up for the challenge?
You have 16 episodes?
That's a lot. I don't
That must
know.
be this.
That's a
Episode
lot.
16 right there.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I didn't really listen to that. I didn't hear anything
I
about it.
haven't.
I know you asked about it.
I
Willis.
did. I know just through social media, a couple of the guys on NYC Bike Polo podcast. And I saw something go up about a challenge, and I shot them a message. Said, hey, what's the challenge? They're like, oh, you got to listen. And I haven't listened.
Yeah, you don't
I got
really
too
have
much
time.
stuff going on.
That's the thing is we've been too busy to record episodes.
And I haven't been.
Don't have
we
any
haven't
time
been
to
no
listen to
time to
stuff.
listen to episodes.
No
so.
time.
Someone
I
Is
don't
it
know.
a
We'll figure it out.
Does anybody know? Is it a food eating contest?
Let me
I'd
look
be
it up.
down for that.
I heard something about
Hot
like
dogs?
a shotgun duel or like a cupcake eating contest.
Wow, I'm looking at this. This is August 31st date.
I
on
know,
that.
that's
It's
what I'm
probably-
saying.
We expired, I bet.
but also on top of that, I was at NA's and nobody came up and said anything to me about it.
Oh.
And like I was walking around, I wasn't like hiding in the corner, so I didn't. Nobody came up to me and was like, "So we're gonna duel now." that never happened. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Oh well,
But we're open to it.
Sounded like a good idea,
know.
but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but you know.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, let's do it. What do we got today?
We
Well,
are
what are we
talking
gonna
to our dear friend Kaleb.
That's me. We
Yeah.
don't have a special guest today, so
no
that's going to
special
be
guest
me.
today. We're going to do a little bit of an origin story, just for the mere fact that you've been to a ton of tournaments lately. I was supposed to go to NAs, and some stuff happened, and I wasn't able to get there, which sucked. But not only did you do NAs, you did Slady Hawkins.
Yeah.
And not only did you do NAs, you did the NA wild card,
Oh,
got all the way
Lord.
through the NA wild card
Yep.
and into
Yeah.
the big tournament.
Yeah.
So I figure since you're going to be doing a lot of talking today, we might as well just start with your origin story. I know our pseudo first episode is my
The
origin
lost
story.
episodes.
Well, no,
Oh.
our pseudo sort of our first episode, which is
Episode
episode
was,
two.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did
Yeah.
my origin story. Since
So
you
like
had-
on the restart, we'll just do me, and then next time we
You've had the
stop,
most
stop doing stuff, we'll
you've
do
had the
Paul.
most interesting times during our hiatus. So.
I think in the last, especially in the last few months, but this year's been a good Kaleb year. So
yeah.
Yeah.
not that this podcast has even been going on for a year. But
No, not at all.
So where were you born, my friend?
I was born here in Columbus. I was born at the OSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I was born in OSU.
you happen to know the room number just for our records?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Doctor, nurses.
666.
That
Oh.
makes sense.
No, it's a birthday though. It's June 6th.
Is it really?
Yeah, so 2006 was a weird year for me.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I was like, I've been here forever. You know, like I don't know. It's weird traveling to other cities, and you're like, this is kind of like Columbus. Maybe I would totally want to live here. But yeah, all I know is Columbus. But
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Whetstone.
Oh, all right.
It's just like a half mile from here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like always been inside that loop. on
Is Whetstone a
71.
private school? I've
No,
always
hell
thought-
no.
Okay,
oh,
I didn't think
fucking
so.
hell no. It's just like it's your classic
It's a
high
golf
school shit.
preparatory school.
Well, no. See, that's actually funny. We'll talk about that golf story later because that's interesting.
You were a
say
pro
golf.
golfer at
Yeah.
one point, right?
So we'll
You
we'll
don't
get,
have to talk
we'll
about it
get
if
to
you-
that one because that
Sensitive
is
subject.
that's an interesting thing from one of my first tournaments. But
Siblings?
yeah, I have a sister. She's
Older or younger?
she's younger. She goes to OSU.
Oh,
She likes
cool,
to
cool.
party. She could probably play polo and just party.
Where? Why have I not heard about this?
How did Paul?
What, that he has a sister?
See, this is interesting because Andy doesn't know my last name. Paul doesn't know that I have family. Paul thinks I'm just like
I've
feral
seen your mom, but that's
and
it.
I'm from the streets.
From the streets.
I'm from the
There's
streets.
Caleb. There's Caleb's mom. There's Caleb's mom's house, and that's all about to know
Yeah,
about Caleb.
no sister there. She's probably there when you were there.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, does she live there?
she did.
Oh.
When we recorded one of our earlier episodes, we were at my mom's house, and I'm pretty sure my sister was there.
What?
Yeah,
Now, what's your
Aw.
sister's name?
Willis, what kind of interrogation questions
Hey,
are
man.
these? You
Hey,
trying to
yeah.
what's your address?
I know your address already.
But yeah, no, she's at OSU. She just moved into a new house. She's doing things, making
Cool, man.
moves. But yeah, I don't know.
So how in the heck did you find... You were an athletic kid, though. You
Yeah,
played soccer in high
while
school?
when I was at Whetstone, I played like a ton of sports. I used to play lacrosse until I got hurt. I dislocated my shoulder.
Aye.
And then I played soccer like my whole life. And then I'm gonna make the joke. I never played basketball, even though I'm half
That's weird.
black. I'm half black. Paul loves this joke.
You're half black?
It's because
Yeah.
it was a perfect setup at the time, and I went for it, and I've never regretted it.
No, dude, that's, anytime I say anything about me being like of darker complexion, Paul's always like, but you don't play basketball though, right?
I don't say that. Whenever, I think you talked about basketball again, and I'm like, oh my god,
Here
again,
it is.
again,
Here it
here it is.
It's always the same thing. You're like, oh, that's such a surprise. But yeah, so I played lacrosse, soccer. I used to do fencing.
Fencing.
Yeah, so I used to do the sword fight stuff.
How'd you get into that?
I don't remember. It was not as an interesting story as how I got into polo, but it was like just weird. Like one day I just went and did it, and it was cool.
Did
And I
you
was-
like want to do it? You're just like, oh, I think I want
No,
to do this.
like,
Or was
one
like
day
your mom's
somebody
like,
was
hey,
just
there's
like,
fencing, do
yeah,
it.
that's pretty much how it happened. She was like,
Okay.
you want to try it? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, this is cool, and I think I'm pretty good at it, so I'll probably want to keep doing it.
Did you slay with
Dude,
swords?
I went to Junior Olympics.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, it was
Hell
pretty
yeah.
cool. So like the whole like going to tournaments thing for from fencing kind of is like, it reminds me.
Don't you get ranked in that?
Yeah.
What did you get to? Like,
I am not sure my ranking was.
did you ever evolve?
I think so, because you
Number
start out
one
as
stunner.
you start out as a U rank, which is unranked, and then you move up E through A. And when I was at JOs, I beat a couple A ranked fencers, so I think that might have bumped me to at least a D.
JOs.
Yeah, junior Olympics.
Oh,
You know?
right.
You know,
I thought you bumped a guy at
no,
JOs.
dude. No, I was at Junior Olympics. God, Paul's fucking worst. Yeah, so I don't know. I
If you
think
beat him, you get a higher ranking.
God damn it. No, so yeah, I went to Junior Olympics and I beat a couple of higher ranked dudes, so whatever. I'm gonna move on. There's no way to like rephrase that so
Moving
it doesn't
on.
sound ridiculous.
So you grew up an athletic kid. You had sports in your life. How did you
Yeah.
come across polo? It wasn't like Whetstone had a.
No. I also when I did a lot of longboarding, it's like, oh, you can hear everyone groaning when you say something like that.
My balls just shriveled
Yeah,
up
exactly. So I used to do a lot of longboarding, and I was actually out on a ride with some of my friends, and I lost them. Like they made a turn that I did not make because I was in front of them because I was fast as fuck. And then I was like on my way home, I was like, well, whatever, they're lost. I'm not gonna wait for them. I don't know where to go. I don't know where they are. So I was on my way back, and I passed. I think Paul, you were playing already, and Willis, you were too. I passed you guys.
Oh yeah, I'd been playing a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
by the time you
So
came.
I passed you guys on the court at Lane and High, and I was like, well, because I feel like I had seen you guys there before, but I had never like stopped and like, because it was a pretty visible court. You know, it's like
Yeah.
right off the main drag in Columbus.
May it rest in peace.
Yeah, exactly. R.I.P. that court. And I was like, I'm gonna stop this time, and I sat there and I watched probably like 3 games. I was there for a really long time, and then David Frankhauser came up to me and was like, hey, I see you've been watching for a little while, and you should like come around to the other side of the court and like hang out. And I was like, that's cool. I'm not.
Oh, were
gonna-
you over where the basketball courts
Yeah,
were?
I was
Right.
like, I'm not gonna hang out with you guys. That's weird. I don't fucking know you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it was weird, and I'm not like a super outgoing or at least I wasn't. I don't know. I'm not really.
There are a lot of gingers over there.
Yeah, I was like,
You-
that's weird. And then Andy Lane actually came over to me and was like, you should really come over. And then I did, and I didn't play that time. I just like hung out. And I remember going home that night and being like, hey, Mom, I just like watched some people play bike polo, and it was awesome. And I think it's really cool. And actually, the timing was really interesting because I had actually just bought a new bike right before.
Oh, the Birria?
The beer,
The bastard bike. And I had went and actually gotten that bike like probably 2 or 3 months before I saw the polo go down. So I was like just starting to get into like actually riding bikes. Because when you're little, you ride bikes, but then this was like
Yeah,
for
I
real.
remember when I first started, like maybe the second night I even came out, you were there hanging out, like keeping time, and you did that for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I didn't play for probably like 2 or 3 weeks. That I just was like hanging out and
Yeah,
watching stuff. And
And
it
like
was
game point, and I'm like, oh, this guy's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, what? He's not playing. Nope.
it was weird because everyone would offer me their bikes, and I was like, I don't.
It's like, no.
I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna borrow your gear. That's weird. Which is weird because like anytime we get new people in Columbus, I'm always like, you can ride my bike and take my stuff. But for me, I just was not into
Here,
that.
have all my things.
I was like, yeah, like there was a dude that came to Columbus, or not came to Columbus, but he came out probably like 6 weeks ago, and he left with a mallet and a pair of gloves and like all this shit. Given we haven't seen him since, but
Took the money and
you know
ran.
exactly.
You can find it all now at Play It Again Sports.
He sold it, made a quick buck.
Pull him out. I'll give you $1 for it.
eating ramen. Got to sell the polo gear for it, but. Yeah, no. So it was weird. I didn't play for a while, but I.
No,
just
I
hung
remember
out.
you just sort of like, who's this young kid with all the hair?
Yeah,
And he's like our official timekeeper.
yeah. I was just hanging out, talking to people, and I don't know. It was really fun to watch at first because I like. Also, that's kind of just the way that I am. Is that like whenever I go and start doing something new, I like to watch it and see it go down first. So I'm not going out there and being just like, total new guy.
I remember one of
That's a
the
good call.
first games you played. It had gotten colder out, and I was sitting in goal. I was still on the Huffy. I think I was still on the Huffy.
No, you were always when I
No,
started
no,
playing.
I
You were
was-
always red line.
Was that okay?
Yeah.
Then I was definitely 2 years in. But I remember sitting in goal and you coming down the court with the ball, and you put it through your bottom bracket and then brought it back through the other side. And this is the first time. I think it might have been the second time you played. And I remember watching you come down going, what the fuck? I've been playing for 2 years, and I can't do that shit. Like, I got really down on myself for about the next 2 weeks.
Sorry,
I
Willis.
was like, no, it's good. It's good.
Willis.
Because I see that kind of stuff. I see it, and it doesn't. I'm like, oh, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can't. I'm not gonna. That actually made me want to get better. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I got to step up my freaking game because these young kids coming up are.
This kid just started stomping me
It's
out.
like,
Oh,
holy
man.
crap!
No, yeah, because so after I decided that I'd wanted to like start playing, I had the bike that I had just bought was a single speed bike, some just road
What
bike.
kind of brake did that have?
It had drop bars. It had a coaster brake.
Coaster brake.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was nuts. It was so stupid. But what I would do is like I decided I wanted to play. I borrowed somebody's mallet. You know what? I didn't even borrow somebody's mallet.
You had
I
those
never
PVC mallets.
borrowed a
Yeah, the
mallet.
PVC, that's
I
right.
went home and somebody gave me a ski pole. Somebody gave me a ski
Probably
pole.
Big John.
It wasn't Big John because
No?
I didn't meet Big John until later. But somebody gave me a ski pole, and I called my grandpa and I was like, "Hey, do you have any like pipe?"
You got
And
some
he was
man
like,
tools
"I got."
could borrow?
He was like, "I have PVC," and I was like, that is. I know that's not gonna work, but let's do it anyway." And I ended up making like 8 or 9 mallets out of PVC, and what I would do is I'd make two heads, and I would bolt one of them onto this ski pole, and then I would go on like a Thursday, and I would play at Tuttle, which is like our secondary court, and I would play there because it was closer to my house, which is like 2 blocks from Lane, so that doesn't even matter. But and I would just like practice for like until the mallet broke, which would it would take like probably like 2 hours or whatever, and that was how I like would practice, was just with some shitty mallets, and then eventually I moved on to the actual stuff. But yeah, I never was into borrowing anyone's gear. I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Caleb usually does the questions, so you're actually just flowing along
I
your
know.
own
I have to
question
like
line.
talk to myself. It's weird, but I don't know. That was like really how I got started. 'Cause after that, like I was just hooked.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, this is awesome, and I started my playing right the summer after my senior year of high school. So I had like no sports going on, and I had played sports in high school so much, and I was just like, well, now I'm just fucking bored. And then polo just like filled that gap like perfectly.
Polo filling gaps.
God.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. It was cool though. It was cool to like find something that perfectly wastes
What was
all
your
my
first
time.
tournament?
My first tournament was Equinox. And that was 2. Now it was 3 Equinoxes ago.
Yep.
I think I just
Yeah.
yeah.
I played with Paul and Coach.
That was my first tournament.
Yeah.
Was what was that?
And that was yours. I remember
Yeah.
that because a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but
that golf story is coming up real quick.
Yeah.
There's no getting around that one.
I came. It was funny because what you didn't say a word. It was just everybody else in the club was going to other people that were there from out of town, going, "Hey, watch this Caleb kid play." And they watch him like, "Where the hell? Where did he come from?" Like, and we just sort of grinned like he's only been playing 6 months, and to just watch.
Dude,
people
no,
get
at that
depressed.
point I had been playing 3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
Yeah, it
3
was
months.
3
That's right,
months.
3 months. And
Dang it.
just watch people's faces just fall, and like it had the same reaction I did sitting
Yeah.
in goal watching it going, "Oh shit, I gotta pick up my fucking polo again." God damn it.
No, it was interesting at that tournament to hear the like whispers and stuff, and have people come up to me and be like, "Damn, dude," and like that was like really awesome. So whenever I see somebody that's relatively new, I usually try to like pass that on. Be
And
like,
you do a really good job with the
So,
new guys and the
but-
new guys that stick around.
yeah, and it was like super awesome, and I think it kind of has like pushed me. So like everyone that was at that first Equinox, like shout out. But the golf story, it's just
Yep. Go ahead.
it's so weird. Like I don't know where any of the like somebody needs to check their facts because this shit makes no sense. But Jay Brown who was it?
I think it was Jay.
No, I know it was Jay that started the shit, but it was It was Bob from
It was
Cleveland
Bob.
that comes up to me and is like, "You got a pretty hard shot." And I was like, I mean, yeah, like I'll work on it, whatever. But I didn't say that to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard you were a pro golfer," and I was just like so confused. So I was like, "What?" Like I've played a lot of sports and I played some weird sports. Golf was never one of them. And he was like, "You got a nice swing. I can see that you used to play golf." And I was like, "Where? Who told you that?" And he was like, Jay Brown told me that." And we both turned and were like, "Jay, what? Who told you I play golf?" And he was like, "Wait, you don't play golf?" I was like, "Dude, I've never played golf ever in my whole life." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I told a bunch of people you're a pro golfer." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I've never even talked to him about playing golf before
And to
that.
this day, you still get people coming
No.
up to you, dude.
Sometimes people be like, and like I'll make the joke too, especially
I'll
when
throw it
Jay
out
is,
there. Like
especially
people are like, "Oh yeah, who's that guy? Oh, that's Caleb. Like
He's a
he used to play golf. He's
pro
pretty
golfer."
sweet."
And so I'll make that joke, especially when Jay is around, because it's just the weirdest thing ever. Like I don't know where that came from or why.
It came out of Jay. That's
Golf
the
is a
explanation.
two-handed sport.
And bike polo is only a
one-handed
one-handed
sport. Like, so I don't know where that came from, but it's just it's interesting and it makes me laugh. But I don't know. Yeah, that first Equinox tournament is like definitely has a special place in my heart. Actually,
Who'd you play with in that
I
tournament?
played with Natalie and Hipshire.
Okay.
Oh, the sleep fart.
Yeah, we were
thing.
team sleep fart,
That's right.
which the team name is a weird story too, because we were at pickup, and
Oh,
we were all really new, and we were like, "What's a good team name?" And Hipshire was like Nocturnal Emissions, and he was like, "That's funny," and I was like, "What? Like a sleep fart?" And then he died, like he was like crying, and I was like, "What? I don't get it." I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's not what that is." And so that team was kind of just
I was there
born
that night. I
from me
remember
just
that.
being super stupid and having one of those moments. But yeah, we played the stickball game,
Stickball game.
and I don't know, it was fun.
That's funny. Hipshire was riding Natalie's bike at that
No,
point in time.
yes, Natalie was like there was a joke that we were like our kind of subline on the name for the team would be slow motion, because me and Natalie were both pretty much riding road ratios at that point, and Hipshire was on Natalie's little tiny green bike.
Now, explain, because everybody at NA's, you got streamed, so everybody has seen Natalie on
Yeah.
the little green bike. And there were two things during your guys' games that were streamed
At
at
NA's? Yeah.
that were talked about. And one was the girl on the little green bike with the 20-inch wheels.
Little tiny
that
wheels.
was blocking everything.
Yeah. It's really funny because yeah, they swapped bikes at some point. It was probably like a year ago, I think, that Hipshire.
It was way long
got a
after
new
it should
bike.
have been done.
Yeah, so Hipshire, because he got that bike and was super stoked
Because
about
Hipshire's
it.
a big dude.
He is.
That's,
And watching him ride that bike, it was really interesting.
it's like
'cause you're
watching a
"That's
bear ride a tricycle.
That's exactly what I thought. It reminds me of like when you're at the fair
Yeah,
and you
the
see
endo
like
wipeouts
a bear.
on that
Oh,
were tragic.
God. But so they ended up swapping bikes, and Natalie loves that fucking bike, and she just like
It works for her.
It works for her,
Yep.
and whenever she plays goal, people get pissed.
I mean, you guys played against Monster Truck.
Oh fuck!
And
that
the
game
first,
was
what was it? I
intense.
believe I think their first 4 or 5 shots.
You know who scored?
went
You know
off.
who scored a goal in that fucking game?
We'll get to that.
I scored a
We'll
fucking
get-
goal in that
you
game.
You scored the first goal to open the scoring of that game.
First blood.
But their first 4 or 5 shots on goal all banked off of
God bless
Natalie's
those
little
tiny
20-inch
wheels.
It doesn't even look out of place on her anymore. Maybe just we see it every day.
I think that might be it. I think when
Yeah.
people see it, they're like, "What the fuck?"
We're all just like, what do you mean, what the fuck? That's
It's like, dude, that's Natalie's bike.
yeah.
So you started your polo career on the Berea with the coaster brake.
Yeah,
What then? It's been what?
that bike is so.
You pretty much swapped out a lot on
I
that.
swapped out pretty much everything on that
It
bike.
was just frame that was original.
Yeah,
basically.
when by the time I got rid of that bike, so I started out on it. It was road fork, drop bars, coaster brake, and then right the day before Equinox, I bought a rear brake,
I remember that.
and I took both of the wheels with me to the tournament. I had one of them strapped to my backpack, and I rolled up, and I was like, I just looked at it, and I was like, am I really gonna do this today? And I put the wheel on, and I rode it around, and I played the whole tournament with a rear brake that wasn't a coaster brake for the first time. And there was like the first game I played, I remember vividly thinking I was going to die because I would like pedal backwards and be like, whoa, fuck, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. But it worked. It was weird. And then after that,
You have graduated to a.
well, no, because the
Was there-
bastard bike, there's like one other weird thing where actually, first of all, shouts out to Shannon. She put up with my drop bars.
Oh.
She had like 3 bruises that looked like question marks on her legs from like the 2 or 3 times that we crashed into each other. So gotta give her props for that, because like she eventually was the one who convinced me to get rid of them. But there was one game when I was really pissed at myself because I was like, that was a fucking terrible game, and I threw my bike out of the court and I bent my fork.
Oh, that's why you got a new
And that's
fork.
why I got the fixed gear freestyle fork.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool, which I think was better, but it didn't make it a lot better.
It wasn't bent.
It wasn't bent though. But yeah, and then after I did some more shit with that bike, had a dual brake, got rid of it, whatever. And then we went Australian, and we picked up one of those Lightfoots.
Now there's a name that hasn't really popped up on the podcast all that much. I think Spencer talked about it very briefly.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the club is like Cleveland
It's
boys,
like,
Rust
dude,
Belt in the house.
We're from Ohio. We rock Rust Belts.
And then Caleb's like, you know what? I'm thinking to go a little down under. I'm gonna feel a little bit different to get yourself.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I like, because I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's weird. I'm like, I have some mass. Like, I'm kind of muscular, but I'm not tall.
I'm totally ripped, and
I'm like,
I'm
I'm pretty swole.
I would just
like,
trash anything else.
I fucking just like ride through shit. No. So I'm not like super tall or anything. I'm like 5'10", and I feel like most of the people that we play with are like taller than me. So I like being on a 700, and I like being, it like kind of puts me at shoulder level with people. So if I want to like try to body up with somebody, my head isn't on their shoulder and my shoulder isn't on their hip.
You've always ridden the 700s.
Yeah, I just like it. I don't know. I've ridden 26, like I've ridden Peter and David. I've like ridden everyone's Rust Belt, and I like Willis's a lot.
Thank you.
Actually, Paul, yours is good too, but I don't love them like I love my bike. And I don't know. I got that Lightfoot. I'm running the like chuckers on there, 48.
Have you seen Lightfoot's coming out with a new color spectrum? For
Are they really?
Yep.
Mine is actually kind of faded a little bit, and it looks different. Now it used to have that like weird two-tone, and now it's kind of just like a weird dull gray blue, which I'm actually into. So I kind of like that. But yeah, no, disc brake, if you don't have it, fucking put it on there. It'll fucking change your fucking life.
Were you a big advocate of the
dual brake?
Well, you had the dual brake, but V versus disc. Were you one that wanted to hold off?
No,
on going
hell
disc?
no.
Okay.
I hated my V brakes.
I'm just thinking if there was.
There's
people that
always
definitely
busted, and they're stupid, and I fucking hate the only person I've ever talked to who like made dual brakes make sense to me was at the thaw last year. I was talking to Chica Powwow, and he runs a dual. I think his name's Kyle. He runs dual disc brakes, and I was like, why do you do that? And he was like, I used to play fixed, so I like feeling the braking coming off the rear wheel. And I was like, oh, you know what? That does make a lot of sense, but I don't.
Yeah, I kind of like that with my rear. I would tune it a little bit more rear than I would front, so that I could like slide around in the back.
See, I don't like that. That's one of the reasons why I hated.
I've grown to
dual
not
brake.
want it anymore, but when I started out,
yeah, because I
kinda
ran
like that.
I ran the dual brake for a long time, and I could never balance it the way I felt like it should be, and it was always taking power away. So I couldn't like do like endos or anything. So I could do like weird, like I could lift it up, but it would take a lot of work, and I had to like really put my hips into it to just like lift it up and set it down. It wasn't ever like a sustained like big arcing endo thing.
Yeah, there was basically no endos with that.
No,
with
you
the
just,
setup I had.
And I don't. It was weird because I didn't like to skid because I probably accidentally skidded through like 2 or 3 tires. And I was like, and the times that I would go home from polo with a flat tire because I would skid out, just like really, I think that really put a bad taste in my mouth for the dual brake. But yeah, no, front disc all day, every day.
I don't regret it at all.
And like it's interesting because everyone's like, oh, disc brake is too much. It's too much extra. And now everyone is saying, oh, hydro, too much extra.
No.
So see, I don't know. I'm interested.
When I switched to disc, mine was, I think I was one of the first in Columbus to switch to disc. There was me, and I know Peter and David hadn't switched to disc yet. I think Fletch had already switched to disc.
Yeah, you did always have a disc brake as long as I've been playing.
My first one was a hydraulic disc brake. That
on
just
the
so
red line?
On the red line, and because it was something that was just that Josh Dyrene had at PG. He's like, dude, let's just use this, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
If I can, once I can afford to go ahead and do another hydraulic disc setup on my Rust Belt, I'm going to do it.
What happened to it?
It was an old reservoir that I had. It was just old. It had been used. It was not brand new. It was used, and wrecking kept scraping the bottom of that reservoir and ended up creating a puncture there.
Oh wow!
And that's the only reason I needed. It was right before a tournament when it happened.
Yeah.
And Josh like, well, I got a mechanical. We're going to throw that on. I've used a mechanical ever since. But hydraulic, man, is
I don't know.
you get it set up, and as long get it set up.
Yeah, you
recommend.
definitely were a driving force that led me to the disc brakes because
I would tell people like,
you'd be like, dude, I just take my wheel off, put it back on, and it works.
Yeah, just try it out. It's
oh
the
yeah,
best.
you guys, everybody would be before everybody.
We'd be like,
we'd
my
be at
brakes are
pickup.
all fucked up.
We'd be sitting at pickup, and a game would stop, and somebody's, I got to work on this brake. A game would stop, so I got to work on this. And me and Caleb would ride home every now and then together, and I'd be like, either A, y'all need to start going to a certified freaking mechanic.
We're always repping Josh's
or
mechanic.
Just get a freaking disc brake.
Even still, everyone that has the V brakes, I mean Ben and
No, Ben went disc.
Well, for a while, his thing was nothing but problems.
Yeah, it's
when
true.
When did he go disc? Is that
literally 2 weeks ago?
Okay,
yeah, I would say it just happened.
He just got a new
remember
wheel
he would
built.
always
it was right
have
after
issues.
Equinox.
Yeah, because he broke. He thought he broke his brakes at Equinox.
He always was breaking it.
Just the V brakes are. I don't know if they work for you. They do, but I fucking always had problems with them. And I bought new pads, and I did all of this stuff, and they never fucking worked.
They can feel good when they're dialed in, but
also I was using a weird because I was riding a fixed gear freestyle fork that had a hole drilled into it that we put in. I had to use an 80 mil reach. It was the biggest brake I have ever seen.
Okay.
So I think that might be a problem. It was 80 or 90, I want to say, on the reach. It was insane. It was bottomed out and filed out at the bottom to get it to actually make contact with the machining, but it was something.
The disc
else.
just works.
The disc just works.
So Caleb, what kind of helmet do you wear?
You're asking about my bun hole.
No. Well, that, which I think is absolutely genius, by the way. But I'm just saying, I'm just asking what kind of helmet you wear, during pickup.
So I don't wear a helmet during pickup, and I know it's stupid, and I don't know. I just don't.
We
do
care
it.
about Caleb. We fear.
Everyone talks shit to me, and I'm not mad about it. The only time I'm pissed off about it is when it's after a wreck and everyone yells, "Wear a helmet," because then it's I don't know. That pisses me off because it's you should just be glad that I'm not already dead. I'm still trying to make sure that I'm okay. I don't want to be assaulted.
Don't criticize
with
me
bullshit.
yet.
Exactly. Once I'm not mad that somebody wrecked into me or I did some dumb shit and fell over and fucking landed on my keys or something.
Probably nothing's gonna change your mind until something happens.
And I know that, but I don't know. But at a tournament, I will always wear a helmet. If it's a city where they force you to wear a helmet, I'll wear a helmet.
But
also, the best concussion zone for me, the back of my head, there's a giant bun there. And Paul is laughing because he probably knows the amount of force it takes to give somebody a concussion and the amount of force that a bun will protect you from. I don't know because you have a knowledge of everything, Paul.
Willis knows that kind of stuff.
I guess. I have a giant bun on the back of my head, so I'm safe.
Help you.
I'm safe.
But just for the creating and opening the tees, and you do when you go to tournament stuff, you do wear a helmet.
Yeah, I do.
And I remember your first foray into a helmet, you hated it because you do.
Oh my gosh.
You do have all the hair. I mean, I can't imagine how big of a pain in the ass trying to find a helmet that actually sits on your head is.
The reason why I wasn't really into wearing a helmet was because I had a lacrosse helmet. I had a really, really nice, like, Cascade lacrosse helmet that was brand new.
Nice, bro.
It was pretty sweet. It, like, helped me rock the flow, from all that lacrosse shit. But I put it on, and then this was at Equinox, and there's netting around the court at Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was riding behind the goal, and I looked down and, like, over my stick side shoulder, and one of my 2, like, chin strap buttons got caught in the netting, and it almost, like, broke my neck. Like, it like, wrapped it up so fast, and I was going quick. I was, like, moving really fast, and it pulled me off my bike, and it scared the shit out of me. And I remember, like, standing up and just taking it off and putting it on the goal and being really, really pissed. And, like, that's not really a good excuse because it's, like, just go buy a fucking helmet that actually makes sense. But it, like, scared the shit out of me. No, it was red and black. It was from my lacrosse team. But it was, like, one of the scarier moments in, like, of any polo crash that I've ever had. I think that one was the scariest because, like, it, like, almost ripped my head off. But, yeah, no, now I have a helmet. I have my Burn Alston.
And you fixed the problem of it actually.
Yeah, so it's a 3X helmet. It's fucking huge.
Caleb's actual head is
the
not
only
that big.
So the only helmet that I've ever put on that's been bigger than that one is Necrelli's helmet. Nick Necrelli from Indy, his helmet is fucking huge. You could build a house in there. Like, I put it on and like at a tournament because somebody was using my helmet. And I was like, this thing is fucking insane. Like, there's so much room in here. But yeah, no, I took my helmet, and because it was a 3X, it had that weird, like, zip mold thing, which is the like, Velcro in the back, and I cut that out with a razor blade. And then one day, like, I was like, this helmet still doesn't fucking fit.
Because I would say it would just sit on your hair.
Yeah.
It wouldn't actually be on your head.
Yeah, and it's really funny because then I cut a square in the back, like, of the hard shell of the helmet, and now it fits perfect. And it was funny because I did that, and I took it to a tournament, and I wore it.
It was
and
Heartland.
You came up to me, and you were like, dude, that helmet looks great on you. It looks awesome.
You hadn't shown us yet.
No, because I just, like, did it because I was pissed. I don't know why. I just remember being in my room and looking at it and being like, I'm going to fucking cut this helmet up right now.
And you turned around, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's your bun's right there.
It's just
still
coming out the
protecting
back.
Your head. Oh, that's fantastic.
No, and so I actually made the hole bigger recently, and I love it. I think it's great. It works perfect. I don't know. If you have long hair and you pull it back, you should definitely chop a giant hole in the fucking in your helmet and void your warranty. You should do a video. And everything.
Yeah, void the warranty, but you should do, like, I know Byrne has a video on how to put the face masks on. You should do a video how to cut a square in the back for your hair.
What's weird is I just did it with a box cutter.
Oh shit.
Yeah, those helmets, like, they're not everyone. See, that's another thing. I don't think those helmets will actually save you from a concussion. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to just keep you from cracking your head open.
You didn't have one that had, like, the super thick hard shell around the edge, though. I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure bike helmets aren't supposed to stop. Most bike helmets aren't supposed to stop you from getting a concussion.
Box cutter versus what, like.
Oh no, the one that I
helmet
had, like, when I cut it, like, the outer plastic shell was, like, probably as thick as, like, some cardstock.
Because some of those Burn helmets, like, the outer plastic shell's like.
It's not one of those, like, super. It's the Alston is the helmet.
Okay,
model.
I'm not familiar with them.
But it's like the outer plastic is really thin, and then the inner stuff is just like, like the inside of any helmet. You can just cut through it with, like, anything. It's like really thick foam that's, like, really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always tell people that whenever they tell me that I don't wear a helmet.
You should do it.
I'm like, you can still get a concussion. It's just not gonna crack your head open, which I did once.
If I'm going down, I want to die.
It's like, well, I mean, I cracked my head open once on the way home from polo. My bike was creaking. It was when I was riding the bastard bike. And it was creaking weird, and I'm riding through a parking lot. I'm like, oh, it's safe. There's no cars. It's like 12:30. And I'm looking down, and then I just, like, nicked a yellow parking lot pole, and, like, just bleeding all over myself.
I remember you showing up the pole. I'm like,
with
what
some
the
stitches.
fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
I hit a pole.
And everyone was like, you should have wore a helmet. I was like, the way the pole hit me, I would have been getting stitches either way, because it was like I was looking straight down, and it hit me right above my eye. And if the only way it wouldn't have given me stitches if I would have had a full face helmet on, which I don't. I don't wear one of those. I don't know.
I tried. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, this is probably a good idea.
It's weird.
I got to protect my moneymaker. And I tried, and I have no peripheral vision. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
It took me all day to get the mask onto the helmet I was using.
And you got it on, you're like,
within
fuck
35
that.
seconds, it was gone.
You know what? I got to say that I got that lacrosse helmet and have been wearing it ever since I got it.
Yeah. And the one time it didn't save you.
Well, yeah, okay.
The
one time a mallet shaft went up under the chin part and got
I don't
into
know
my
how
shit.
that happened.
It penetrated you.
Well, it's because my mallet, I was reaching for the ball. It got locked on someone's tire. So it was like it was supported. And then I started to fall. It hit my chin, then just rolled up into my mouth.
But like seeing you stand up with a roll over with a mallet in your mouth.
And I was standing over you,
was weird.
And it had red or orange tape on it.
It did, and it was on
and
my
I
hand
looked down,
too.
and I just see
orange
handle of mallet
in the
mouth, and like this orangish red. I was like, oh Jesus, he just busted out all his front teeth,
and
it's now
my teeth
impaled
hurt real
and
bad.
I
So I
think
thought they
that's
were
blood.
gone.
Well,
I thought they were all gone.
And then also, like, once you pulled the mallet out of your mouth, because I was on the other side of the fence when this happened, and it happened right in front of the like bleachers that we sit on. I ran over the fence and looked at you, and you just pulled it out of your mouth, and you were just licking your teeth.
I was
back and forth like windshield
because I couldn't
wipers
feel them. I'm like, oh
so
my god, where are
fast.
my teeth?
And your eyes were so big, and I just remember being like, oh my fucking god, that might have been the craziest crash I've ever seen.
Really? Because it didn't
Dude,
actually
you had
feel
a
that
mallet
bad.
in your mouth through your like it went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay. I guess it was
Just
bad.
like the odds of that happening are like with a full face. I feel like are
I
not
bought that
high.
for the purpose of that.
and it didn't protect you.
I know. And
But at least you still have all your teeth and everything.
that's the thing. My teeth hurt for like a month after that. And
Did they really?
I was gonna go to the dentist to ask them like, did anything get fucked up? I wound up not doing it, and then I had an appointment like a few months later and told them about it, and they're like, "Well, if the pain went away, I think you're fine." And I'm like, "Okay,
That's some good
Thanks,
dentist
guys.
advice.
Because
Yeah.
like I couldn't even sleep afterwards because I'm like, they still hurt like shit. They're just gonna fall out one day. But what I was gonna say is that I can't really see around me. I can't do a lot of like behind the wheel play because I just can't see that.
Yeah.
So when I'm like messing around without a helmet on, like just
You're like, oh.
whatever, I'm like, damn, dude, there's so much I could be doing.
Well, that's the thing is David Frankhauser just got rid of. Well, he lost his helmet, and now he's been
Yeah,
playing with no
but
face
he's
mask.
been able
and
to
he
do
likes it.
Well, he's been able to do behind the wheel stuff with the
That's true.
similar stuff. So I'm just gonna keep trying.
Yeah.
But it is easier.
I like being able to see. The one thing about the lacrosse helmet that I will say is you can't hear. Like when I had a lacrosse helmet, I don't know, this might just have been mine. I could not hear anything.
Mine's from like the 70s, so it's
You
probably
got the
fine.
Old school one. Yeah, my helmet like ear holes are really tiny. So, I remember the first game I played at the Heartland, my first like qualifier. I played with that lacrosse helmet again, and everyone was like, "Throw that helmet in the trash because that did not even look like you." And it was just weird. So I don't fucking play with that helmet.
Yeah, that was
ever.
the Heartland that I was sitting at home
Yeah.
trying to find a team from Midwest.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I love playing bike polo. I love it. It's my favorite.
So you're pretty much all fixed craft stuff, right?
Fixed craft rotor guard. I will say it doesn't fit quite right. It's on backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to put it on backwards because my fork is too big. I rocked a fixed craft mallet heads, and I don't use the grips though, because
I do the grips.
Everyone at this table knows how I'm about my grips.
Episode 2, if you want to hear how Caleb feels about
And
shaft grips,
very
tune in.
into making my own grips. I like my grips to be like tactile, and I have a lot of like diamond weave on them. But yeah, so I don't do the fixed craft grips. I was gonna get the fixed craft gloves until I saw that they didn't have finger knuckle splits or whatever. They weren't like actuating. Is that right, Paul?
Sure.
I don't know. I figured out. They don't have like separate knuckle digit pads or what. I don't know. Whatever.
Less dexterous.
Yeah, they don't. I have like a weird thing where it's like if I couldn't kind of type on a keyboard with my gloves, then I won't wear them.
Well, lacrosse gloves are super nice about that. So
Some of them are. The ones that I used to have that I gave to Spencer were awful, and I hated them. The ones that I have that I used to have they just died. They were awesome, and the ones that I just got, they're like Brian King gloves. They're awesome because I like to be able to bend my fingers and like move them around and stuff. I like it to feel like I don't have gloves on because I used to play with mountain biking like gloves, and they just died, so I had to get upgraded.
Speaking of no helmet, I have no gloves. I don't like stuff on my hands now.
That's weird. I don't like. I've crashed a couple times with no gloves on, and I don't fuck with it.
My
at
hands
all.
get torn up. I get just the other night at pickup, got slapped in the little finger, and now it's
That's
hurts
another
like a
thing.
dick.
There was one time. Actually, that's another reason why I got rid of the mountain biking gloves. Is because somebody hit me in my finger, and I have a scar. Actually, no, that's my fucking steering arm. Doesn't even make any sense. I got hit on the finger, and it hurts so bad because I have a
it's
scar
bad.
there, and it's like when they hit it, and it like all your nerves are like confused, and it just fucking feels
Ooh.
tingly and weird.
Especially like the open end of the mallet that's been worn down.
God,
to a
and
nice
it's
little point.
sharp.
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't like lost a finger yet, or something weird. It's just like, oh, yep, they cut my finger off with their mallet.
It'll happen when someone gets a hand in a chain.
Oh, shh. That happened to me. That's another reason why I wear
Oh
gloves.
yeah, the arm in the arm in the chain. That
Oh
was you.
no, that was different. There was one time that I fell and my arm got wrapped up in Peter's drivetrain and he dragged me. That was my
That was
arm.
that Tuttle,
my-
right?
Yeah, my arm
Yeah,
was around
that's what
his
I'm talking
leg.
about.
It was
Yeah.
around his pedal and his leg. The other one was I fell and like Damien. He hasn't come out in a while, but I fell and like his bike fell down and I crashed into it and fell and I put my hand on his cassette. He was playing with like a mountain bike that had a full cassette, and I just grabbed it with my hands and I looked at it and there was just like black and red lines on my hand, and it didn't like break my skin, but I was like, this is fucked. I was like, this is so fucked. Because could you imagine all those like fucking hand stitches?
Or just basic nub closures.
Oh, fuck.
They'd all be chinked off because everyone runs single speed, so that's a meat grinder right there.
Well, he had a whole cassette of like just blades that I landed in, and it was fucking gnarly.
So you've been, we've seen where you come from. Let's see where you're at now. Now, I got to watch a lot of, or most of NA's
Yeah.
through Mr. Dew on the live stream, and it was pretty cool. Some of your first games, a couple of the announcers were like, "Oh," and said this. They were like, "Oh, hey, this is that team with that Kaleb kid. He's pretty good. He's really good. He's like an up and coming Slayer. This is a guy you want to watch." And that's sort of where you're at now. But what I wanted to talk about was you have been traveling a lot, especially this last year.
Yeah.
You've played in a shit ton of tournaments. But you got to do something that I haven't done. I know Paul hasn't done. Is you went to NA's.
Yeah.
Not only did you just go to NA's, you played the wild card tournament and got yourself into
Dude, that was so rough.
into the big tournament and got to play in the big tournament. So I just wanted to hear some of your thoughts and things that you saw, what you thought of NA's, how you thought you played. Interesting stories.
So it's actually really funny because like right after I'd first started playing, I talked to this kid that I went to high school with, and he was like, "What have you been up to?" I'm like, "Dude, I play bike polo now. It's pretty sweet." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to start traveling more and get on." I called it the tournament circuit.
Oh,
like I actually said that.
Now, is that like the pro golf circuit?
Oh,
I mean,
for
are
sure.
they comparable?
It's like pro golf or pro fencing,
How you doing on the tour this year?
It's like, I got like 8 GP points right now. But and like now that's actually like a thing. Like I'm traveling a lot, and it's given it's inside this region, but like I'm still like moving around playing polo, which is fucking awesome. But yeah, no, we went. I took Andy and Natalie Lane. They're a fucking couple now, I guess.
She might be a little upset by that one.
Wow. No, so I took Andy Lane and Natalie with the little green bike, and we went and because I had already qualified with Peter and David at Great Lakes, but they didn't take me. They took Travis. They had already qualified Heartland, and so I was like, well, I still want to go, and I still want to try to go, and I know we had talked about doing some podcasting stuff there.
Yes, that was the plan.
Yeah, it was. But my main focus was to go and to play and then do podcasting stuff in my free time because I didn't really think we were going to go that far. What ended up happening is we went down there on a fucking Thursday, and we went down there Wednesday night. We went Wednesday night and played polo Thursday. We played 11 games on Thursday, and they were 11 hard games of flying around at like full speed, and they were okay. We did okay. the best game we played was our last game of the tournament. I don't remember what the team we played was called, but they're like the dude's name was Gavin, who we were playing with. He's from Seattle, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a really cool dude. He was like 2 doors down from us at the hotel, but that game was awesome.
This is the last game of the bracket.
This was the game, and I don't know what like, I think it was semifinal or quarterfinal. I don't remember, but basically it was whoever won that game took the last qualifying spot, and it was like the best game because we were just, everyone wanted it so bad and everyone wanted to be done so bad, and we were coming out of the losers bracket. I can't remember. It came down to
you came out of the losers bracket. You beat Type A.
Oh, did you pull it up?
4-3.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then when you jump up into the winners bracket semifinal, you beat UOENO 5-2.
Yeah.
And then you played.
Those scores don't sound bad, but the games when I remember them were not fun.
You played Smell the Glove in the winners bracket. For
Yeah,
the first game of the winners bracket.
That's the other Caleb.
Yeah.
And they had our fucking number that whole tournament. We could not fuck with them.
5-2 and then 1-0, but yeah, that's pretty freaking sick.
Yeah, that last game was it was awesome. There was just so much crazy shit going on, and we ended up beating them in sudden death. And right before the time ran out to go into sudden death, the weirdest shit happened where like I hit a shot and I chip shot it on an open goal and I hit the crossbar and then went by and hit it out of the air, and then somebody had pulled in the goal and it hit their wheel, and that was like the coolest thing that had happened to me that whole tournament, because I was just like, that's like one of those things you clap and you just go like, good show. That was awesome. Like everybody, God damn it. I feel like everyone was into that. But that game was awesome. Plus it reminded me of playing in like what I feel like a final is or whatever, where like everybody's watching your game. So that was cool. And then I think probably the most fun after that, because we didn't go very far into the actual NA's tournament. I think we were second to last. And the other Caleb's team was one less than us.
Yep.
So actually, we're going to talk about this really quick. We made a bet that whoever finishes higher gets to nickname the other person. So right now, if you talk to Caleb from Michigan right now, you call him Dr. Polo or the other white Caleb.
The second one was my input. I'll just have that being known.
He called himself Dr. Polo while he was a little intoxicated. So that one's my favorite, because if you give yourself a shitty nickname, that's too good to be true. But yeah, I think we finished second to last in the tournament. But yeah, that game to get into NAs was awesome, which was rough then, because we had to play like a shit ton more polo, and I was tapped, like I was done. I was like, I don't have any more energy. I just gave it all in that first day. But yeah, I don't know. NAs was awesome. You guys, we should, I'm trying to play in the next NAs, obviously. But we should definitely go, and because I know there were people there that wanted us to that kept asking me if we were going to do interviews and stuff, and I definitely wanted to.
Yeah, that was certainly the plan. We had a few things come up,
but yeah, hopefully next time we can do something.
We
like
wanted.
That, so
awesome.
I
think our goal I think after we come out of this winter is, I'm really not going to be playing in qualifiers anymore. I'm sort of retiring from qualifiers.
But he's not going to not play polo.
No.
I'll be playing. That, all you other people that are trying to retire. He's still going to play in the for fun tournaments.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing in Equinox.
He's still going to play pickup.
I definitely want to do Slady Hawkins.
Slady Hawkins is awesome.
Qualifying polo for me, I had a blast with you guys this year. I had a blast the first one I did.
Oh yeah, we did try to qualify. Forgot about that.
Yeah,
Man, Wolves.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I'm competitive, but it's just sort of like one of those things where it's like, I'm not that competitive.
Yeah.
I like to go out and play. I like to play hard and do the best that I can.
Yeah.
But qualifying and trying to get the NAs, that kind of thing, especially with the podcast, trying to get, keep this up off the ground and get it going. I think it's good that we have somebody who is playing all the time. I'm sure Paul will be trying to qualify, so at least to have one person at these tournaments that can really focus in on that and rein everything in, I think would be very good for me. So I think our game plan is going to be coming out of this winter is be at our qualifier doing podcast stuff, be at NAs.
Yeah.
If it's relatively a decent distance.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's in the Pacific Northwest, that's an expensive ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trains.
No dedication over here.
I'm just poor, man.
That's
unless we want to do if it's somewhere that far, we
Go fund us.
Car trip. Yeah, go fund us. Speaking of GoFund us, there is a GoFundMe up for
Hammersley.
For
Is that
Chris
what you're talking about?
Hammersley,
Yeah, trying to get him to Worlds.
For some of you who might not know who he is sort of a.
Who doesn't know who he is?
He's the
most qualified man in bike polo.
Yeah, coming out, sort of he's a pole legend in the Midwest.
Plus, I'm pretty sure he listens to this, so.
Does he?
I think
shout out to Hammersley. He has a
hit me up.
GoFundMe site up. Check it out. It's on Facebook. He's very, very somebody that you could send a
He
couple
needs to
bucks.
go.
Yeah, he needs to go.
You could send a couple bucks and you won't feel dirty or bad about it.
Plus, I really want to see him play there, so I would.
Has he played at a Worlds?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I want to see him play. That'd be a really good question. I love watching him play. It's awesome.
I just hate to say, when the Worlds are out of the U.S., which they have been the last couple of years, it's fun to watch. I like watching. It's fun to watch. I mean, there's great polo everywhere. Europe has great polo, but as an American or as somebody from North America, being able to sit down and watch Worlds and be able to oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
I know him. You see some of the guys like the Beavers and from other places. You're like, oh, I know that, but to be able to see players from the Midwest be like, I know him.
Yeah, it's like
I've had a conversation with him.
I put
really
a pumpkin on that guy's head. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely am super into just trying to play more tournaments, trying to meet more people, see more stuff, do the thing.
You're doing it.
Do it.
You're making
do
the
it up.
steps.
Do it up. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm into it. I like traveling for stuff. Well, it's just weird because I wanna. I don't know. I like playing in Columbus. Columbus is cool, but I'm always thinking where maybe there's better polo.
No.
I
know where this is going, and I think we are just about done for today. Actually,
I don't know. We gotta do Willis tip. If we're done, if we're about to be done, we gotta do Willis tip.
Right before we're done, let's give a big shout out to motherfunking Monster Truck.
Oh yeah, that was a fun
for
game
their
too.
North American win. Champions of North America, Guardians. You guys did a great job. And sort of my MVP and sort of a team that I enjoyed watching, the Prospectors.
That was a
Fletch.
great fucking
I know you're from
bank
Columbus.
shot.
I'm not trying to be a homer.
God.
But Fletch, you played amazingly well. And I also got to meet your dad at Equinox. He came to watch your brother Luke.
Dude, he was at fucking NAs too.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
His Fletcher's dad, he was very, very proud. And had a lot of really cool things to say about both his sons, but especially Michael or Fletch.
The Fletch.
So congratulations, Fletch, man! You're killing it, man. Keep it up. But you have a Willis tip for Willis? Or I guess that's me. Am I talking in third person now?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of do. You call yourself the Willis.
Yeah.
Which is kind of third. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
No, it's just this is interesting, and I kind of saw it at NAs, and people were Peter was talking to me about it a little bit at NAs, and it's the straight arm shot.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about it a little bit at pickup, and it's so in Columbus we do somebody said the difference would be a wrist shot versus a
slap shot.
A slap shot, which, wrist shots and polo are scoops and they don't fucking count. But it's we snap. We wind all the way up and we snap our elbow and our wrist when we shoot.
It's a full golf shot.
Yeah, it's it's fucking pro golf shit. I would know. I'm a pro golfer. It's almost like a snap.
And I really and I'm so used to it. And I'm actually, I don't know, I haven't told anybody this. I'm actually having problems.
So this is perfect for you then.
My elbows. My shooting elbow.
Yeah, the straight arm shot is something that some of the better teams do. I know that Shitty does it. That's his thing.
I think
and they'll just
from Monster. Mother
yes,
Funky
he
Mo-
does. Pete Abrams
Pete.
does it. And they do that shit where they just like lock their wrist and elbow out, and they just swing it like straight up and straight into the ball, and they get like crazy power out of it, and like it's really accurate and it's a really consistent shot.
Seems like it'd be a really good accurate thing because if you know where you're gonna be every time.
Yeah, it's like there's no guesswork. You're just you're doing it, and I was trying it out. It feels really.
Does it feel really weird?
It feels really weird. I was trying it out at pickup, but the shit I was hitting was crazy. Like I hit one, and it like I roofed it, and I was like, "That's weird. I don't fucking like this." And so I don't know. Maybe you should look into that because
I'm gonna give it a shot. I haven't said anything to anybody. Yeah, I'm having. It goes from my elbow about midway down my forearm.
Yeah, you should try it out.
I'm gonna
try out that straight arm shot.
So it's just lock every. How far back do you reach?
That's the
just
thing.
As far back as your shoulder will go. Because my thing was for the longest time, when I first started, I had a really big wind up.
Well,
and my shots were slow.
That's kind of the thing that I noticed while I was doing it is that it feels kind of weird, and it feels like you kind of do have to lift the stick up really high, and the follow through feels like it's going up to like a point where it could get called on a high stick if you're close to somebody. But
did the shot feel fast though?
No, dude, it felt like really powerful. It was weird. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was hard.
Right,
it was a good hard shot.
I'm gonna start practicing. I mean, I've been practicing my other willow steps. I still haven't really gotten the endo down, but I'm also extremely uncoordinated.
But yeah, you should probably check that out.
I'll add that into my practice schedule.
So
Willis Toops, he's gonna release a memoir at the end of all this.
I am.
So I don't know. Yeah, origin story. You know,
well, hell yeah, dude.
It's pretty much all of it.
And it's good to be back. Sorry you kids had to wait for so long.
There's only 3 of us. What do you want?
Yeah, we're not dead yet.
No,
not yet.
And it was also great to hear from you, like Caleb spoke of before.
Yeah,
to kind of rejuvenate us, at least thinking that people want to listen to it. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, we like to hear from you guys, and we like to know that there are people listening, so we're not just like shouting into the wind and like nobody's listening to this.
Yeah.
So when we do hear from you guys in person, especially awesome. But if you guys just comment
shoot
some
the
shit.
emails. We forgot about that. It's theshufflepolocast@gmail.com. Send us the emails.
Yeah, because if there's something you want to know about, or if there's something that you want us to talk about, or you have something to say, then you should send us an email, or even just like leave us a comment on YouTube. We can do that too. But the emails are nice because we can just look at them while we're sitting around the table right now in the creepy basement.
And the website is paid for. A couple tweaks, and we should get it live. So you'll have traveling.
He said a couple tweaks. It might be a couple weeks.
We're working at about a tweak a week. So
a tweak a week.
It's been a few months.
That website that we made is probably fucking in the trash. They probably deleted it. We're gonna have to start over.
I hope not.
But whatever. Fuck it.
All right.
We're gonna do this stuff. But yeah, play more bike stick ball.
Bike stick ball?
Bike stick ball.
All right, we'll go with that. I like that.
All right, folks.
Hell yeah.
I'm Paul.
Caleb.
The Willis.
See ya.
Peace.